Hey guys, Jack here, welcome back. VAR has come into question once again, and in a few cases now this weekend, and we're going to be talking about them. But firstly, we're going to talk about probably the big game and where all the most controversy has come from is the Tottenham versus Liverpool match. A game filled with controversy as Tottenham Hotspur managed to beat Liverpool 2-1. Jurgen Klopp seemed to set up a more defensively sound, where he wanted to absorb the pressure, and so he used kind of a back four of generally, Van Dijk, Matip, and Gomez, and then Robertson, who was tasked throughout the game to be kind of the more advanced wing back. And what they tend to do is sit back, absorb pressure, and look to the likes of Szoboszlai and McAllister, and even a bit Curtis Jones to progress the play. Curtis Jones more with his running and late box arrivals. McAllister more of the city, and Szoboszlai kind of more box to box. And Postecoglou played his normal style of edge ball, which is press high, crowd out spaces, and just kind of bit man marking, and it was working for both teams. It was very end to end, to start the game, and Liverpool had their chance to go up, go up at the start of the game with a through ball, which for Luis Diaz, who we've seen, I'll pop up the image here, but it definitely should have been called back. And we've obviously had the news come out of the VAR PGMOL saying that they didn't consult with the referee. They made the wrong call. It was a human error, and quite a human error it was, because later on, Curtis Jones was deemed to foul. I believe it was Suma or Pape Sarr with a if they were both of them were going in hard for the ball, and Curtis Jones' foot kind of rolled over the ball and got to his ankle, and it was yellow. It was a foul, but I don't personally, for me, it shouldn't be a red. I understand the point of contact that the referee saw when he looked at the monitor was the contact with the ankle, and it did look bad, especially if you look at it that way. But the issue is with VAR is that it should be taken as the whole context. If he went in and kind of went ankle first and missed the ball completely, yeah, that's a red card. Should be off, fine. But because both the players made contact with the ball, Curtis' foot went over it, and it made contact, he's going to be sent off. And I wouldn't be surprised if they appeal that. And it just, it's Liverpool down to 10 men. Tottenham continued to push, and they eventually got their goal. Great pass from Madison over to Richarlison, and then cross for Heung-min Son to tap it away. And you're thinking Tottenham Hotspur are going to feel comfortable throughout this game, but credit to Liverpool, they countered well. Van der Ven was caught, and Hakpo had a couple of chances before this instance where he just right before the end of the first half he put it away, but he looks to have come off with a knee injury, and from what I've read, it's not going to be, he won't be back before the international break at the very least. So going into the second half, Tottenham continued to push, and Liverpool were still trying to counter, and I think it was really working for them. I think what they should have probably done was take off maybe Luis Diaz for Darwin Nunez, because he is very physical, he is very, he's very attacking, he'd be brilliant on a counter, he works hard, and I think his overall profile would have caused Christian Romero and Van de Ven a lot of issues. But as the kind of half went on, you could kind of see that both of them were kind of just fighting in the middle third. But then obviously we had Diogo Jota, who came on at the for Hakpo. Got a yellow card, which I don't think it was a very soft yellow. I mean, Salah got picked up with the soft one earlier, and then the second yellow, which was about, I think it was about like a minute, 2 minutes later, that's a yellow. And just how it was very sort of petulant in how he reacted, and obviously he was sent off, and Liverpool dropped to 9 men, and they sat back. And absorbed pressure. I think that it was really impressive how well they were defensively. Tottenham should have done more, and I was saying throughout that last kind of 10-15 minutes, get to the byline and drill it across kind of the Man City way. And they weren't doing that. They kept lumping it long, and you see Van Dijk, Konate, Matip, they're all huge, and they're just going to win every aerial duel. And with Son off, you had Man or Solomon come on. Robbie Charleston is good in the air. He's not the same size as these lads, and it kind of looked like that's what's going to be the case. Liverpool were going to grind out a draw, which would have felt like a victory, but they, unfortunately for Joel Matip, I think it was the 95th minute, just gave, unfortunately, stuck his foot where he shouldn't have, and unfortunately past Alisson, who also had a good game, and Tottenham came out a win at home. And I think it's two key points come out for one for each team. With Tottenham, they have managed to grind out this match, and Sheffield United, but they needed to do so. They need to do more. They need to figure out how to break down teams more. And I think going with that Man City style of going at the byline, drilling it across into a busy box, because that's what happened with Joel Matip. He was just in the wrong position, and that's what happens when you put into that corridor. It's all hell. While for Liverpool, I think it's a huge boost for them that they went down to 2 men, they went down 2 men, and They just were defensively sound, and it was incredible how well they were doing. Probably if they had like someone like Nunez to as an outlet, it probably could have gone away with something and maybe even got something from the game. But that's here nor there. But in general, I thought they defended incredibly well. And Jurgen Klopp was saying just as much after the game. They deserve to get the point, but unfortunately, that's not how some things work. And football is full of, periods of luck and unluck. And VAR has had a mare for this game. It was ridiculous. Obviously, the onside call, the red card for Curtis Jones. It's mad to think how it happened, and like it's just going to be interesting to see what happens now with the not only with the officials, but just the kind of general story around AR. And personally, I'm still in support of it, but it just needs to be manned properly. It needs to be manned better. Because they've had so many mistakes in the season alone, Howard Webb has to make an apology after apology nearly every couple of weeks. It needs to be sorted, but we kind of have just to wait and see what happens with the PGMOL. So yeah, that's it for this, and let's just jump into the rest of the games. First up, we're going to look at Aston Villa versus Brighton, and what a ridiculous scoreline, 6-1 to Aston Villa. Unai Emery was chuffed every time they scored, and they were capitalising on Brighton's mistakes. The high press seemed to kind of just make Brighton dysfunctional. They couldn't really handle it. And I don't know whether they did look a bit tired, and I don't know whether it's just kind of mental fatigue or they're almost like mentally preparing for the Europa League, because they want to they want to secure their first win. I don't know why, but they just they weren't up for it that game. Happy for Ansu Fati to get a goal, but Ollie Watkins was brilliant. Douglas Luiz was controlling the midfield. McGinn was doing the same, and Diaby was a thorn in the backside. It was incredible to see how well they were doing. And just credit to Unai Emery for getting a tune out of this team despite losing during midweek. De Zerbi is probably going to give them, is probably going to have some words with his team because that wasn't a good performance from them. Next was Man United versus Palace, and United had their chances, but they were never clear cut. They did well to progress the play up to the final third, but they just struggled immensely to break them down. They did, like, even Crystal Palace weren't making many blocks. Like the players, I think, only made 1 or 2 blocks each, bar Tyreek Mitchell, who had a brilliant save off the line, to stop Hoyland, but there wasn't much else. I mean, Rashford, from what I've read and what I've seen, he had a very poor game, and they definitely and considering that they beat them comfortably 3-0 while both teams were rotated, they should have been doing better, especially at Old Trafford. But credit to Joaquin Anderson, who's having a great season so far with a brilliant volley. I'd encourage you to check it out if you haven't. It was a brilliant volley from I think it was a corner. Next up was Newcastle versus Burnley, and Newcastle were comprehensively the winners here. Not much to say. Kompany is struggling a lot. I think he hasn't even picked up a point this season, and I think he's had 1 point, and they really need to start doing something. They have Luton now this upcoming Tuesday, and they need to get something. But Luton got a victory, so they're going to be wanting to want to keep that roll going. Credit to Newcastle, they did well, and considering that they were coming off the back of a Man City win, and they have the Champions League this week, it's just a great result all around for them. And talking about Man City, Wolves beat them 2-1. I mean, first goal from Pedro Neto, counter-attack, running down the right wing, just completely bypassed the City back line, and it kind of exposed the issue with City's back line, is that, yes, they're playing 4 centre-backs, and, Pep Guardiola has done really well with that system. But the problem is that when you have the likes of Pedro Neto, who has good strength, but he has incredible pace, once he gets past one of those lines, it's very difficult to stop him. I mean, Nathan Ake just struggled to keep up with him, and obviously it was a lucky deflection from Ruben Dias to get Wolves' first goal. They got it. It was just really unlucky from Dias, but Wolves deserved it. And then City were putting on pressure if they couldn't do anything. Great free kick from Julian Alvarez, but then Hwang Hee-chan, again, another counter-attack. Neto is the hub of that, and got the goal, and Wolves deserved to win it. Haaland was denied once by Craig Dawson, which was an incredible block from the highlights. It was just great. It was really good defending, and credit to Wolves, they picked up a win under Gary O'Neill, and I say they're elated right now. Oh, talk about a party atmosphere at the Vitality Stadium. Arsenal winning 4-0. Goals from Odegaard, Saka, Havertz, and Benjamin to be exact. And they were having a great time. The same thing happened last season. We saw when William Saliba got an unbelievable screamer, and Havertz got his first goal, and just really happy for him just to kind of get that that monkey off his back. And it was a great performance by Arsenal. Bournemouth just struggled to handle their high line. They looked Arsenal looked fluid. They looked strong. But one of the probably main qualms of this game is Saka going off injured. Hopefully it's only precautionary and he'll be fine for midweek. And also Man City at next weekend. Like he's been crucial to their team, and hopefully he does return to with good fitness. But just the crowd were chanting 60 waka waka with Kai Havertz. And myself and a friend were discussing this stat. It's similar to last season when I was saying that William Saliba, that's where the Saliba chant came from. Just a lot of fun all around. And also, Gabriel Magalhaes, he needs to understand that hitting players over the head countless times is not a good thing for concussion protocol. We just gotta say that. Next up is West Ham versus Sheffield United. West Ham were comprehensively the better team. Sheffield United looked out of depth. They probably could have gone 3 or 4-0 down, but it was from some goal line clearances and Fabregas making a couple of good saves. West Ham were good throughout this game. You could just tell they were just a higher quality team overall. Next was probably the shock result of the weekend. Well, one of them anyway. Definitely the City one, but Everton versus Luton. Luton just capitalised on set pieces. Everton were mad going forward. They were doing a lot. James Garner had a couple of great chances, but just couldn't finish them. And Calvert-Lewin was very wasteful in front of goal. He seemed to kind of make the wrong decisions, and I understand that he just came back from injury and he wants to make an impact, for Everton. Considering how much they've stuck by him now in the last couple of seasons, with his injury record, but he just kind of started making wrong decisions, and I don't know if he needs kind of a bit of time out just to kind of settle again or what, but they just need, Everton once again had a lot of possession, majority of chances, and just couldn't do enough with it. Credit to Luton. I mean, Lockyer with a kind of block shot. It was really good. And then Carlton Morris from an in-swinging free kick, beautiful on the volleys to knock it past Pickford. Like brilliant finish. And I'm super glad that they got their first win in the Premier League, first 3 points of the Premier League. They must be really happy about that. And lastly, we had Nottingham Forest versus Brentford. I know we have Fulham, Chelsea, but I want to get this video out, today, Monday, and Nottingham Forest. They had their chances. Brentford definitely had their chances as well. Brentford, with a good finish overall. Nottingham Forest. I'm gonna go. I know I'm harping about him, but Flecken just has Dominguez with a brilliant header, but I thought Flecken could have done more. And I feel sorry for saying that because he's a Dutch goalkeeper now, and I think he is a good keeper. He's shown that at times, especially when he has that Offside, but he just seems to have struggled to settle in, and I don't know where it's confidence or he just doesn't feel comfortable. I don't know, but they need to sort that out. And they're kind of seeing David Raya go to Arsenal on loan. Like I know it's not a guarantee that he'll sign for them. Granted, he did start in the match against Bournemouth, but it's not assuring to see the replacement for David Raya is not performing, and I can't think of their second choice goalkeeper. They need to potentially look at that come January. I don't know, but Brentford are missing Ivan Toney. They're missing that focal point, and they need to kind of figure out solutions to that. But credit to Forest for coming back and even being 10 men down. They fought back, and while both teams had their chances, I think a draw was the fair result in the end. I hope you enjoyed the video. VAR is mad. City lost their 100% record, and they even got the first 3 points, so fun all around. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care.